18th, yeah. Good gravy, 7 more days till
All
Christmas.
right, we're going to start this because I'm going to ask you some questions. I try to make it a little interactive so it's not so boring listening to me. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I'll be able to do this correctly. For some reason, I always get nervous sharing my screen. I feel like I can't do it well. All right. Where is the icon to share my screen? Share. Let me know if you can see a loan estimate in front of you. Closing costs and stuff.
Yep.
All right. So up here, you don't have to worry about it. That's just the buyer's information, their payment and stuff like that. So the reason I wanted to go over this, number one, is as a real estate agent, you need to make sure when you're giving your little estimated cost that you're talking to the lender. Many people are giving stuff to their buyers and then they're coming to me and they're like, it doesn't match. It's completely off. And I tried to explain to them that you guys do your best, but there's no way for you guys to know PMI quotes. There's no way for you guys to know FHA funding fees. You do the best you can, but they really should go by my estimate. But I get this a lot lately. So that's why I decided to go to this class. So the reason I want to go through it is I want you guys to be aware of some very important things when you're helping your buyers, when you're guiding them, and what to really look out for in a loan estimate. So we're going to go section by section. And any questions, just unmute yourself and chime in, open forum. So number one, origination charges. So first question for you guys. Do you know what the difference between an application fee and a origination fee is? Anyone?
Well, the origination fee is like the points that really is the profitability to the lender. It's what they're charging. Application fee is just the, processing of the application. That's what it costs.
Right. Yes and no. It depends on how they do it. So some lenders, online lenders that I can't mention, actually the origination, as you can see in ours, we have an origination charge. That's the name of the topic of the, letter A, but we break it down to lender preparation, processing, and underwriting. So those fees total our application fee. We now break it down because we have to compliantly. As you can see, this buyer did buy points, but some lenders actually charge an origination fee and they say it's an application fee. The problem with that is, and this is why you have to be really careful, and I tell people all the time, some online big companies, they actually charge, we have a flat fee. So like these fees you're seeing right now, like $16.95, that is a flat fee no matter how big the loan, how little the loan. Some lenders actually charge origination fees. The higher the sales price and loan amount, the higher their fees are, which I think is really unfair. So I've showed people this multiple times and they're shocked because they don't notice it because, they don't know what they're supposed to be looking for. So that being said, when you guys are looking at your loan estimates, your buyer, and they're asking you questions, be careful of this because some lenders right in this section, they won't have points here, but they're going to have thousands of dollars in fees that are going to look like application fees. But that doesn't mean that it's, I don't know what's the word I'm saying, fair. Like ours is a flat fee. So these three things, this is optional. Points is something to benefit the buyer to get their rate down. It is not required. So and a lot of lenders, unfortunately, are telling buyers they're not paying points, and they are. They're just being dishonest. This is a huge letter A. You guys need to help your buyers. If their lender's not, showing and going over like I do, some lenders don't. They just throw it out there. People, sign it without even looking. So this is huge. One, are you paying points? Did he tell you you're paying points? If a lender does not tell you you're paying points and you see this, go to another lender. That's not allowed. It's not compliant and it's dishonest, and it happens all the time. So this is one thing. And then this could vary from lender to lender. You want to make sure in this area that the points and these preparation documents and fees are flat rate and not like if you see something where these costs right here are like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, big red flag. They're charging more because the loan amount and sales price is higher. We do not do that at Movement. We charge a flat fee, period. So that's really important. Could save your buyers thousands of dollars. Okay. 1% loan upon, he chose to pay that, but I always disclose, always tell my buyers a no point option. I never tell them I can get them, 6% when I know they're paying points. It's just dishonest, and I just think it's wrong. But I'm telling you, it's happening a lot. So you guys definitely want to look out. This is two big things right here in this area. Okay, makes sense? Any questions?
So far, no. Thank you.
That's letter A. You should be looking at a lot. Okay, B, services you cannot shop for. Most people will complain to me. Now, this is a very large investment, and that's why it's 800. The appraisal company, and this goes for all lenders. Every company, no matter what lender you use, is a third party. That's why it says services you cannot shop for. These are companies, you can't just pick your appraisal company. You have to go with the lender's appraisal company. It is not a movement appraisal company. It is a third party. That's why you cannot shop for it. So these appraisal fee is absolutely determined by the appraisal company. Credit report, that is what they're charging us now. And these are all these little fees, employment verification. This is what movement gets charged to do things for the buyer, pull a credit report. It's absolutely outrageous. So they have to reimburse us these items that we have to pay on their behalf up front. Make sense? Yes? No one's answering me.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question. I'm trying.
A lot of people will ask me what these are, and I'm like, these are not our fees. These are services that we pay on your behalf. And actually, the appraisal fee they pay by credit card. But the other things, credit report, as soon as we pull a credit report, we have to pay for it. And if they never get a house, that's money we're lost. But if they buy a house and close, then they're reimbursing us as well as the flood, tax, verification, employment. These could vary a little bit. Absolutely. Most appraisals, single family, are $575. This was a humongous house and it was an investment. So they had to do a rental schedule with it. That's why it's $800. But most of Movement's appraisal company charges $570, $550 or $575. So this is a high example, but I wanted to show this loan estimate because it has a lot of stuff on here I wanted to review, where some people don't have points and some people don't have other things down here that I'll show you. So I try to get a loan estimate that has a little bit of everything so I can show you what to look for. Okay, Tobias, you have a question?
Yeah, the appraisal, you said that they cannot choose their own appraiser. They have to use your appraiser, right?
Absolutely. Any lender has, that's the law. The lender, Marty, me, Rocket Mortgage, they are not allowed to use, it's a conflict of interest. I wish it was that easy that they got their own appraisal. You can never use your own appraisal. The company that the lender works with is a third party. They do not work for Movement. That's a conflict of interest as well. They have to do a third party, and they are unbiased and get an appraiser to go out there. So it's appraisal company, which we use Karis, who's amazing. And then they have their own appraisers, as you guys know, are independent contractors like you. I order the appraisal. They have to pay by credit card. And then the appraiser, once we get the payment, the appraiser gets assigned to the file and reaches out to the agent. And that is definitely not negotiable.
I've heard some lenders that they require you to pay for the appraiser up front.
That's what yes, we do too.
Okay.
That's what I just said.
That's what you just said in a different way. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So the process is we order an appraisal. I order it through the appraisal department. I'm not allowed to speak to an appraiser. We're not allowed to because, again, conflict of interest. So the process is, at least with us, and it should be with other lenders, appraisal is requested through the appraisal department. The appraisal department sends a link, and I'm always texting my buyers, Camille will know this, that here a link was sent to you, please pay by credit card. They will not assign an appraiser to the file until it is paid. Then we get confirmation it's been paid, and then the appraiser then gets assigned, and that's when they call the agent. So it does get paid up front. We used to not do that, but unfortunately, people were not paying for appraisals. Like we were doing them and then asking for reimbursement, and then they weren't paying for them, or the deal fell apart. And because it's a third party, it's not a Movement fee. We can't eat the costs, and the appraiser is definitely not. That's like you guys, giving up your commission you know, well, it's a little different, I guess, because you guys don't get paid till closing either. But an appraiser does a service, he gets paid right away.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Maria, not to get too much in the weeds, because I know you're moving quickly through this, but with the third party appraiser, and I think this conversation came up Tuesday on the broker hour, where there had been some discrepancies, some disappointments, some attitudes of the appraiser, some extreme situations. So say hypothetically, there's a third party appraiser, which Movement Mortgage has no really control over,
Right.
but then it goes through the appeal process, right? Because I disagree with whatever is being said. They bring it back to Movement Mortgage and you guys resend out another appraiser?
No, actually, it's called a dispute. You have to fill out a dispute, and then
Okay.
the appraisal company will then make their case. So it's really about you guys, like we have to just connect you to the dispute department, and then the
Okay.
agent has to come up with all kinds of proof. I've never seen someone, especially on value, I have never seen anybody win a dispute because they're giving comps that are like 2 years out. I've seen some dispute emails go back and forth that I thought was interesting because some agents were saying that they just think it's worth more, but they had no proof, or the proof they had was not even recent comps, in like, an hour away. They were just fighting for it. And it was a little ridiculous, but you have to dispute it with the appraisal company / appraisal department. I'm not involved in it. And it's not easy to dispute an appraisal. But I will tell you this, and this has happened many times. If you're with another lender, let's say you're not with me, and you're working with another lender and the appraisal comes in really, really low. FHA appraisals stay with the property. So no sense of switching lenders. I've had multiple people come to me and tell me that it came in really low. The appraisal sucked. The appraiser sucked. And if I take over the loan, can I do a new appraisal? And the answer is yes. I've actually saved multiple deals by switching. This can be done for conventional only, not for FHA appraisal and VA stays with the property for 6 months. So if that appraisal comes in low for FHA, no matter who you switch to, you can't. It stays with the property. A conventional. Now I had somebody did an FHA, and I actually switched him to conventional, which I thought was really funny because I'm like, I don't know why you guys want FHA. We can go conventional. And I did a conventional appraisal and it came in. So there's sometimes some tricks to get around it. I've had many people come to me as FHA buyers and they should have been conventional from the beginning. So that's another way to fix it as well.
Okay. Thank you.
It is a third party. It is, but I will say that with our appraisal company, we don't really have many issues. We've had some, and unfortunately the agent couldn't really, they paid way over value for it. You really have to prove that you can prove that the appraiser was wrong. And attitudes, work ethic. I also think they were talking, Camille, about inspectors too. They weren't happy with.
Yeah, inspectors. Yeah, now to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as appraisers, you really you can rebuke it, but our appraisers actually welcome, like let's say we did an appraisal together, Camille, and you're like, hey, can I bring some comps? Our appraisers actually welcome any added information.
Yeah.
They do. They really do.
In my experience with you back in February, everything was just head on.
Thank you.
Because I did the comps and then the appraiser came out with the same comps, just about. So it went very smooth.
It goes smoothly. If the agent is doing their part and looking at comps and pricing the house or advising the buyer to do the offer at a certain, they should be really, that appraiser is probably going to be using the same comps. So
yeah. Gotcha.
Unfortunately, with bidding wars, and sometimes people just go over because they want the house and then they risk that. So okay.
Cool.
And I will say this, let's say I ordered an appraisal and the next day I get a phone call and the agent's like, hey, Maria, this deal fell apart. Cancel the appraiser. If our appraiser does not go out, never gets to the property, never did the appraisal, they will get a refund. So it is charged up front, but it can be refunded if the deal fall. It's happened a couple times. The next day or two before the appraiser even went out, the deal fell apart due to inspections. And I immediately called my appraisal department and said, cancel it. And they got refunded. So if you're got an appraisal moving along and it's scheduled and inspections are not negotiated, and all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, this is falling apart. I hate to see them pay for an appraisal. Call the lender immediately. If they have not gone out to the property, they should get refunded. Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. C, services you can shop for. So you are allowed to shop for a title company. So what happens is my system and most lenders' systems will generate state average title costs. So all of that is title. This is nothing I tell people. I have no control over it. These numbers are estimated, and these are all fees. And if you'd like a breakdown of all these fees, I can connect you to the title company, because I don't go over all this stuff because it's not my department, and I certainly don't want to explain anything incorrect. So C, services you can shop for are title company and attorney. I think they had attorney too. Let's see if they had attorney. Transaction coordinator. There's no real estate. Let me see if there's an attorney on here. Oh, so this was the first loan estimate when I did not know there was an attorney. So I found out like a week before closing there was an attorney on this. But services you can shop for are going to be title, home insurance, and attorney. No one can tell you. You can pick an attorney and you can pick your own title company. A lot of people tell me, oh, my attorney's telling me I had to do this. No, you don't. You have the right, absolutely right. And anybody who tells you that you have to use the title company they're telling you is unethical. Not 100%. Three things again: title, attorney, and home insurance. Home insurance we're going to get to. That's over here. But that is something you have to shop for as well. Any questions on services you can shop for?
Do you know, Maria, what EDOC means?
EDOC fee is like, DocuSign and stuff. They charge you for everything.
I was like, what is that? Yeah. Okay.
EDOC fee. It also could be if they have to
Anything electronic that has to be,
or also something that is maybe it could be a mailing fee, because there's nothing on here that says anything about mailing. They sometimes put EDOC fee as if in case they have to mail something, and then if not, that fee comes off. Okay, I'm not positive, but that in my experience, that could be a couple things.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I'm going to go up here, other costs. So recording fees and other taxes. Let's talk about transfer taxes. Do you guys know how much a lender should be collecting for a buyer from a buyer for taxes? How many months?
3 months, right?
How many?
Isn't it 3?
Nope.
6 months. 6 months.
Nope.
Oh, I forgot then.
12. 12 months.
Oh, it's 12. Okay.
Now I'm going to jump down to here because if you can see under G, I have 13, and I'm going to tell you why I do 13. So first we're going to go back up here, then here. Transfer fee. You guys know that the buyers and the sellers split it, right? 1%.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
mm-hmm.
1%. Yeah.
A lot of people freak out when they see this. I tell them compliantly, I have to disclose the total transfer fee, but then at the bottom, half of that is taken off right here.
Yep.
So we show them compliantly. We have to show it because that's the law. And then down here, it's the seller's part is taken off. So they're really only paying half of this. Okay. Super important.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I missed that. You said
It's okay. Right here to see the 14,000.
Correct.
Right here, transfer. This is the sellers and buyers. They both have to pay 1% of the sales price. And a lot of people think they're paying it. What I do is I show them at the bottom of the page, seller's credit, this is half of it. They do not pay both. The seller pays 1%, the buyers pay. So this half is being taken off. So I have to explain to them compliantly, I have to show you that both parties are paying, but you're only paying half, and here's your half back. Okay.
Got it. Yep. Right. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So home insurance, this is the first loan estimate. So we don't have that amount yet. So right here.
Bless you.
I'm coughing actually, and
sorry.
Some water, but thank you. So this was one of the very first loan estimates, and there's many that goes out. So this is not filled in. because these are not done yet, because this gets done later, as we know, a close date and stuff. So we're going to skip down. The only thing you need to know here, and the lender should explain, is prepaid interest is when they close, they're not making a mortgage payment for almost a month or two. So
Mhm.
there's interest daily accruing and they pay that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Super important. G, number one, home insurance. I find that a lot of agents really put their home insurance low. I've been going very high. I've been putting a minimum of 150 to 175 or 200 a month. I'm sure you guys are experiencing home insurance skyrocketing like crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
Crazy, to the point where it's affecting people's debt to income. It's affecting approvals. They will not even insure certain roofs. It's bad. So I learned a couple lessons that I'd rather go high with my estimates. So I always go high, and then they have to, do the escrows, but I go high. And if I were you as an agent and you're trying to estimate, I would do 150 or higher. The higher the sales price, the higher the monthly. It's better to go high. And then if it comes in lower, then your buyer's happy because closing costs will be less. And on top of it, their payment will be less. But I've been going high, and I tell them at the time, I'm like, hey, I'm throwing 200 a month on this one, and you have to shop for it. It's their responsibility to shop for home insurance. It's my responsibility to give them the best estimate I think I can. And I don't know sometimes a lot about the property, like especially the condition. Like I just found out recently that the roof has to be replaced. No one mentioned that.
Yep.
So we couldn't find a home insurance company. So we finally found one. But like when I tell you, we had to look at so many different people, and they had to do some special clause in order to get it. But it's been stressful. The home insurance, I think, is probably one of my most stressful parts. And I don't know if you guys know this, but home insurance actually goes by, like, it's just like applying. Like when you apply for it, you better not have any liens. You better not have any bad credit. They go by your credit score now. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And they also
and-
go by if you had any previous claims.
Yeah.
It's like applying for a mortgage or home insurance. Because I've seen some people with some, low credit scores, not bad credit, just don't have a lot of credit. And because they're in the 600s, they were getting killed. It was crazy. Everything's really getting harder on buyers. It's a shame. It's a real shame. So the mortgage insurance, you guys, that's not in here yet either. That is definitely something you want to ask your lender. Hey, what's the PMI? If they're not putting 20%, they're paying PMI. And I've had some of my agents go really low with the PMI. They just throw a number, and some go really high. That is definitely something you might want to call the lender and say, hey, can you give me the PMI? I actually text my lenders, my agents, or give them a copy of mine, or tell them what they should be putting. So they match, because, it's all about trust, you guys, right? And if my estimate is way off than yours that you're giving, they're either not going to trust me or you, or both. So as a team, I tell people, let me see your fees, because some people are forgetting the FHA funding fee, the VA funding fee, thousands of dollars. So there's no shame in going to the lender and saying, hey, I got to fill this out. Can you help me here? Make sense?
Yeah, to your point about sharing it with your agents, I think there sometimes is a timing issue, because usually once we get a listing agreement or buy agency contract, we share with the estimated closing costs, and sometimes it's our best guess.
Oh yeah. You guys do the best you can, but I'm telling you, you might want to go up a little higher just for certain things. You definitely,
because I don't know at what point all of this is prepared. Is this prepared after the commitment is issued?
No, I actually can give this when I give a pre-approval.
When you get a pre-approval. Okay. So that makes a big difference.
And I can change it. So when, you know how I work, Camille, when I make an offer, I'm putting the sales price and taxes in. So all these numbers get adjusted, and I can send a loan estimate with the pre-approval if needed.
And that's extremely helpful.
Yeah. And then people can just copy my numbers.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So property taxes, I always actually collect 13 months. I'm super conservative because all my buyers love it when their closing costs come down lower. I do 13 months just because I'm extra careful. So 9 times out of 10, my closing costs and the payment, well, the payment doesn't change because it's monthly, but the property taxes that are collected at closing,
Closing is
I
low.
always do 13 months when I really should do 12, but I do 13 because I just rather know that they have the money. It's my little cushion in case anything unexpected happens and there's an additional fee. For instance, sometimes people forget to tell me there's a transaction coordinator fee. Sometimes they forget to tell me their buyer's commission fee. So I always ask, but sometimes they forget. Or, oh, Maria, I decided to use a transaction coordinator fee. And then a week later, I find out. So keeping the communication open with your loan officer is super important, you guys, because that's what letter H is. We need to know the buyer's commission. This is huge. And unfortunately, a lot of agents do not tell me this. I have to ask a lot. And I have to put this on here because this is a huge part of their closing costs. As you can see, this is $3,500. So I ask on every deal, on every pre-approval, what is the commission? And I make sure the buyers are aware of it because sometimes there's none. Sometimes there's 2, 1, 0.5%. So this is really important to tell your lender, hey, they're paying me on this one, how much percent? And if you have a transaction coordinator. I really, really think it's important for trust and even ethical means to make sure I got every possible fee. This one did not have a capital improvement fee. You guys know that's another 1,000, maybe 2,000. That would go here too. And I always ask about that. So these are, look at all these costs. These title insurance is optional. I do not tell them what to do, but the title company usually tells them they should do it.
What was that again? That fee you said that goes there? Sorry.
So it's buyer's commission goes here, capital improvement, but there's none on this one.
Oh, capital improvement. Okay, thanks.
Capital improvement can range anywhere from 1,000 to more than
2,000. Yeah.
I've seen it from 1,000 to over 2,000. So that's really huge. And that's just the first thing I ask people. You know, I look at the MLS. And that's another thing, you guys. People, a lot of times people like to send me links. Zillow links suck. They're not accurate. They don't give me capital improvement fees. They don't give me sometimes the proper taxes. Every website's different. So trust me, I ask every single one of my agents, I want the MLS, please. That tells me the most accurate information. Try to give your agents the MLS when you're asking for a pre-approval or to crunch numbers, because it really does make a difference. The taxes and capital improvement, it can make or break. And now you're making an offer and maybe they don't qualify anymore. So I crunch the numbers. You both know. Tobias, you know this too.
Yes.
When I have a pre-approval, you're going to call me or the buyer's texting me and I'm plugging in the numbers for any offer they want to make sure their payments in the desired amount, and it's okay, and their cash to close, and they're in the debt, and their debt to income ratio is under, where it needs to be. Super important. So we're a team, and the lender needs to be super involved before you even make an offer, in my opinion. That's how I do it.
Right.
So all this does down here is it just adds in stuff. It talks about the down payment and all that stuff. You don't need to know that part because that changes with everyone. But I wanted just to go over this, and I know it was quick, but it's also important because, again, one is these are going to vary on every single pre-approval or transaction. Every single one, these numbers could drastically change. And number two, making sure that you're working with the lender and being open and upfront and honest with everything, because it could make a big difference. I had someone telling me, well, your costs are like thousands of dollars more than the agent. And I said, well, unfortunately, the agent didn't, count a couple things. And I felt terrible because I had accuracy and the agent didn't put it in there. And they were not happy with either one of us. And I don't even remember what happened. I remember they were like very upset that there was a lot of inconsistencies. But again, I'm not going to tell an agent what to do, but I'm going to advise that you guys know, just like any other person, that they're going to trust you. And there's, especially buyers these days, they're like ripping apart everything. They don't trust anyone.
That is so true. One
little thing that you don't follow through with, they're pretty harsh, these buyers these days. So I need to be on my game to make sure that I'm being upfront and honest about every single thing. And that's another reason why I round up, because 9 times out of 10, everything comes in lower and they're like thrilled with me.
Mhm.
I stopped doing the cutting it close. I'm like, you know what, guys? And I tell them at the time, I'm rounding up, I'm rounding up, I'm rounding up. And I tell them all this. I'm counting 12 to 13 months of taxes. Oh, why? Pennsylvania does that. Oh, New Jersey doesn't. Correct. Two most important things when you're working with lenders that are not local: taxes, collection of taxes of they don't know, and two, the transfer fee taxes. Jersey transfer fee, New Jersey seller pays all of it. Buyer doesn't pay a dime. So these are two huge fees that if this is not done correctly, and I've had it happen multiple times with buyers coming with out of state or just not local lenders, and they're like flabbergasted of the amount of money, the difference that they have to come up with.
Mhm.
Not a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Any questions or things that you've had in situations that maybe I can help with? Was this helpful?
No, it's very helpful. It's a refresher.
Camille, leave me?
Who?
There you are.
No, I'm here.
Can't
No,
see.
I was writing notes because especially with the part about how New Jersey sellers pay the entire transfer tax and
They pay
buyers
that,
don't.
and they also do quarterly taxes. So there's not 1 year. They collect 3 to 4
Yeah.
months. So that's huge. Oksana,
And
do you
what
have
was that
any
again?
questions?
They pay the entire transfer fee and you said quarter taxes?
And they pay, so I
New
only pay
Jersey.
4 months of
Yeah.
taxes. Yep.
Or months,
New
okay.
Jersey and Pennsylvania, drastically different. And New Jersey, very, very doesn't have like HOAs, like almost everything's an HOA and PA. So the
Right.
HOA fee has to be counted in the debt to income. I have like Jersey and PA. So I have a guy he's not sure where he wants to be. So I'm like, listen, I'm qualifying you for a house in New Jersey with no HOA. If you go to
Mhm.
PA, I need to put the HOA in your debt to income. He's like, oh, I said, that could change your qualifications. I said, and also there's going to be extra fees in PA. And he was very appreciative of the education I gave him. But there is a drastic difference between New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
For the HOA and PA, and this might sound like a dumb question, it is not escrowed at all.
No, it's a flat fee
Just a flat fee. Yeah.
that the buyer has to pay at closing. Yep. Oksana, do you have any questions?
Well,
Yeah,
escrow is
Maria,
really.
I do have a question.
Hi.
Basically, at this point, I get a loan submission, correct? And we're not like in a good friendly relation with the lender. So my question is, I did not get this closing cost from the lender. Should I ask?
Yes, always. Any lender should be able to give you estimated closing costs. My system generates something just when I have a pre-approval. This is a legal document. If you can see this, Movement Mortgage. This is a legal loan estimate. I am not sending this to an agent unless the buyer gives me permission. But there is
Yes, okay, that's why I'm asking, like, he did not send me anything. So should I ask my buyer
Yes.
permission?
Yes. Now, if you wanted, let's say the buyer and you and I were working together, you're like, hey, Maria, before if you're not in a hurry and you are going to write up your fees, I can give you not this, but it's another type of loan estimate from the system, from the pre-approval system. It's just a loan estimated cost. Whereas this is a legal loan estimate that is sent to the buyer to e-sign. Agents do not get this. But I've had people tell me, hey, can you send a copy of the loan estimate to my agent so I can go over? I said, well, I'm happy to go over it. They're like, well, my agent wants it. Happy to send it, but I have to get permission. But I can definitely send you something very similar to this called loan estimated costs. And it just looks a little different, but it's the same exact stuff on it. I've done that.
Basically, if I don't want it to make situation more worse, so if I'm not gonna ask for this form, is this okay? Should I have this form or not?
Yeah, you absolutely can. When you have a pre-approval, so there's two different types. When I give a pre-approval,
we starting in one point and we completely ending in completely different point. So at this time we start with a buyer was buying his house under his name and we ending on a LLC. it's like investment property, and I don't think the lender will gonna share any information at all now after all what happening.
Well, I don't know.
So
Yeah, I'm just talking about in the beginning, like when I give a pre-approval and someone has to write up an offer and you guys aren't sure about the fees, I can definitely give you something to give you those fees. I've done that many times. But in your situation, compliantly, the lender is not going to send you a loan estimate. It's not something that, because you're not the buyer, but you can ask your buyer,
okay.
you can look at it.
No, like I just wanted to know, like my step in this chain of the transaction. If I did not get loan estimate from the lender, that's okay. It's not big a problem, correct?
Oh yeah, you're not going to get one unless you
Okay.
ask for one when you do the
Okay.
pre-approval. Yeah,
Like
you're not going to get this legal document.
and a closing cost. I mean, like, oh my God, I'm confused myself, and I just don't want to confuse you. So he, after loan submission, he's gonna calculate in like a closing loan, and the lender will gonna share with the buyer, correct?
Correct.
But
So
he's not responsible to share with me. And if I don't have one, that's okay.
correct.
Okay,
That's
this is what the
after the
question.
loan has been submitted, before the
Okay.
loan has been submitted. So if you and I have a buyer and you're making an offer, okay?
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
this loan estimate is only if the loan has been submitted as a live contract and it's compliantly submitted to an underwriting. I'm talking about, so this would not be sent to you. You can get a copy from the buyer if they want to give it to you, but will never be sent to the agent ever because
Okay.
you're not the buyer. But
Okay.
if you and I have a buyer and you're like, hey, Maria, I want to make an offer. I'm not really sure what to put for closing costs. Can you give me some numbers? I can generate an estimated loan cost sheet that will give you the numbers to help you fill in yours. That's when you want to make an offer. And because, you guys have to fill in Jersey, they don't do that. They don't fill in all this stuff. In Pennsylvania, you guys actually give estimated costs when you do your offer. They don't do that in New Jersey. So do you
Yeah,
understand?
state by state different. Yeah.
So
So
just
basically,
remember,
in the end, I'm sorry, in the end of the day, I will get like a settlement sheet from the title company, and I'm gonna see what the closing cost
that's
will
at the
gonna be
end.
for the buy in
Yeah.
the end from the title company, correct?
Yeah. That's the very, very end of the
Okay.
transaction.
Okay.
I'm talking about when you're making an offer and you're not sure how to fill out those fees.
Mhm.
Your lender should be able to give you those fees and some type of document from the file that gives it to you.
Okay.
This loan estimate that you're looking at is a compliant document that is sent to the buyer only. And they get several of these. They get the first set. They get another set when they lock. They get another set when title and insurance then they get a final. There's 4 sets of disclosures. So the first one is
Okay.
super estimated, and I tell them that. But you're never going to get any of this, Oksana, until the very
Okay.
end. And it's really not your job. But if the buyer is coming to you and saying, I don't understand, my lender won't explain anything, and
Mhm.
you can say to them, well, would you like to send it to me? And I'm happy to see if I can help you. But you're never going to get this unless your buyer gives it to you.
Okay. And another things like transfer tax. In my situation, Bob told me the buyer can face in double transfer tax taxation because of these changes we already made to the contract, because contract be executed under his name and then we added an addendum. Maybe I have to stop by your office because it's so crazy situation, and maybe you'll take a look and just give me some
Yeah, I'm
idea
not sure what
because
you're talking about, but I'd have
yeah.
to see what you're talking about because this is just an example. But I know you have a lot going on with your situation.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like I do have a situation where the the appraisal came in a little low, so the seller said, "Okay, I'll lower the sales price, but I need $1,000 toward my transfer fee taxes," and then we need an addendum. So
Okay.
if you want to call me, I'm going to get on the road soon to back to New Jersey. If you want to call me, or I'll be in tomorrow. I should be in tomorrow.
Yeah, I can stop tomorrow, but what time will be best works for you?
I'm not sure yet. My brother's in the hospital, so it's like every day is a different day for me. I'm hoping to come in. If I come in, it'll probably be around 10 or so, but it's a touch and go for me. So I'm like kind of just making myself available if I need to go to the hospital, but I should be here maybe like 10:30. But if I'm
Okay.
not, it's because something happened. If that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna text you before if I can stop, and if you cannot, that's okay, not big deal. We
Okay.
can do
You
it
can also email
another
it to
day.
me. If you have something to
Okay.
email me, then I can look at it and
I
talk to you
can,
on the phone.
yeah, I can send it over the paperwork. Okay,
Yeah. All right. How do we
I hope
do?
your brother gets better. I'm praying for him.
Yeah,
Okay.
praying for him as well, praying for
Please do.
Joseph.
Please do.
I
He's very.
don't know the situation, what happening, Maria.
My baby brother, he's sick. He's in the hospital and just not sure what's going to happen. So it's been
Oh
since
my
last
God, I'm
week.
sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of trying to make myself available. And luckily he's
Okay.
local, but I don't live here. So he's 10 minutes from here in the hospital. But if I go home and then have to turn back around. So just trying to
Yeah.
be there if I'm needed. And I'm just letting my buyers know that, hey, I'll see if I'll make the closing. If something happens, I'm not making the closing. I'm just being
Yeah.
upfront with
And just,
people that, he's more important than
of
going to.
course.
Thank you for your time.
You're very, very
Yes,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I
excellent,
hope you learned
excellent
something. If you guys
information.
ever have any questions, you guys know
I
you can
took
call me.
notes.
You can send me
Yeah, me
something.
too. Yeah.
You can send me something and say, hey, Maria, this is what they were sent. You see a large point fee. They were told no points. You see that origination fee, thousands of dollars, red flags. I look at loan estimates for my agents all the time so I can advise them for their buyer. And then a lot of times they end up coming to work with me because I'm honest,
Yeah.
Sees
I
everything.
appreciate that. Yep.
Okay.
Safe
Okay.
travels.
You guys. Very
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Travel
Happy
Safe
safely.
travels.
Thanks,
All righty.
guys.
Take care. Thank you.
You're
Talk to you
welcome.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Later.
Later.